Good morning, everybody. Here's a video I didn't expect to be making on a Monday morning, but there you go. Of course, we've had the news late last night that the big six in the Premier League, and I'll use inverted commas. You can call them whatever you like, but the big six in the Premier League have announced that they're going to join this new European Super League, which of course is designed to be a replacement for the Champions League that the big clubs have essentially created to take more money for themselves, to have more independence over TV rights, over sponsorship money as well. Essentially, instead of just having a little bit of the pie, they want to make their own pie, they want to cook the pie, and they want to eat the pie themselves. My only issue is, and of course, Pinkin.com, I've written a big piece about this, about how, as we'll come on to, Norwich fans perhaps should be proud of their club and the way it's operating at the moment. But the problem is, when you get all of those clubs extremely wealthy, clearly extremely greedy, and you put them all in the same environment, is that greed going to stop? I'm not sure. These clubs have already shown that they're willing to essentially do anything to get to the top, to get more cash, to increase their wealth. Why would that stop with the creation of this Super League? That's going to continue, isn't it? And let's be clear, it's not a European Super League, it's a global Super League. I read the statement late last night as it dropped through on my email, and it made very clear about this being a global competition. Make no mistake, these games are going to be sold off. They're going to be played in Saudi Arabia. They're going to be played in America. Very rarely are we going to see games played at Anfield or Old Trafford or the Etihad. And quite frankly, this is a mutiny by the very top clubs in English football. This is the English clubs in football, big English clubs in the Premier League, saying that they want more money. They believe they should have more power regardless of how they do in the league. This is destroying the link between hard work and success. This is destroying the link between a club who is capable of challenging the elite. We think about Leicester City and the famous example of them winning the league a few seasons ago. That now wouldn't count. They would win the Premier League, but they then wouldn't get rewarded with European football unless they were specifically invited in by these sort of omnipotent founding clubs, as they've called themselves. The arrogance is astounding, the stench is horrendous, and the elitism is in full flow. And look, no one is surprised. This has been something that people have been speaking about for a while, and I think in terms of Norwich City fans, they just need to be very proud, I think, of the way their club is run. And I've written a piece on it today, Pinkin.com, you can go and read it. And of course, we've just seen Jose Mourinho has been sacked. It's been a frantic sort of 12 hours or so in the football landscape, and we still don't really know what these changes are going to mean if they are introduced, and just how they will impact English football. But let's be very clear about this. Just as clubs in the National League, if you want to use a local example, Kings Lynn Town, who have been furloughing players, clubs in League 1 and 2 who are on the brink of financial ruin, just as those clubs are wondering about where they're going to get the money to pay their players, to pay their staff, to pay their to keep football afloat, essentially at that level. These clubs have conspired on a Zoom call to go off by themselves, to make more money, to say to hell with the rest of us, and to crack on with their own European Super League. And it's really a complete disregard for competition. There's no relegation. There's what these teams seem to forget, that being no relegation, being these teams playing each other every week, first and foremost, you lose that special element that we've had in European football for however long, the last as long as I can remember, certainly. But equally, teams are going to lose every week. If you're an Arsenal fan, or so-called legacy fans that apparently they want to introduce, and you're watching your team lose every week, and let's say Leicester are winning the Premier League, why would you not go and support Leicester? It's the same concept. People support the winning teams. It's not going to be helpful for those teams, and it's really disappointing. And it's, I think, as a football fan more than anything, it's the beautiful game, but it's turned really ugly. And I think there's a lot of people feeling a lot of disappointment, embarrassment, disdain at the game today. In terms of Norwich City and where this comes into them, of course, they've just been promoted to the Premier League. We don't really know when these proposals are going to kick in. The statement just said at the earliest or the soonest possible opportunity. You have to think theoretically that would mean next season. If that is the case, then clearly there's questions to be asked about whether these clubs should remain in the Premier League, what the impact will be on the European competitions, and how does it affect Norwich City. In terms of how it affects Norwich City financially, and Delia Smith and Michael Wynne-Jones have always been very clear on this, that English football at some point would have a moment like this. It would have a moment where either it collapsed or something happened that would throw it in complete disregard. When that happened, Norwich City are run in a way that means they are sustainable. They will keep level, regardless of what happens now in terms of the Premier League and the legal challenges, and whether the Big Six do leave. And as it stands, they are still planning to play in the Premier League, so any action would have to come from the Premier League to either kick them out, to impose fines, to impose punishments, however they wish it to be. And I can see several comments that we've got coming through, and I'm sure Tony will just flick them on the screen. Starting with Kobe, who's just said game's gone. Unforgiving Steel on YouTube, everything NCFC stand for as a club, culture, ethos, marginal gains, and solidifying ourselves as a top 25, 26 club in this country is all undermined and could well count for nothing. And he's gone on to say we should be proud of our club more than ever now, should be thankful for the team we support and love. And this is absolutely right, because if you think about Norwich City's success this season, it's been played in a stadium they own. They've trained in a training ground that the fans have helped to build, in a community club where, of course, the club have put £500,000 into the nest, a new facility that the Community Sports Foundation have built, which I went to look around the other week. It's a fantastic facility, could easily be a training ground for a club in the EFL. And that will help generations of people in Norfolk. They've got owners who, as we saw on Saturday, and you can see on our website as well, after promotion was confirmed, went out to speak to supporters. They're accessible, they're visible, crucially, they are accountable as well. These things are critical in football, and it's the quiet owners, and Manchester United's owner, Joel Glazer, who is co-chairman of Manchester United, and a new sort of senior figure in this Super League setup, has given one interview in his 16-year reign at Manchester United. That was to in-house media. They've been very quiet. They're not accountable. They're faceless. It's a really sad day for football. It's a really sad day. And if there's anything that Norwich City fans should feel, it's pride towards the way their football club is run. It's not always perfect. We know that. Are there flaws in it? Absolutely. Is there a ceiling to what they can achieve? Absolutely. But if that is exchanged in, if that is swapped for, essentially, if you get more titles, you get better players, you get bigger transfer fees, but you lose that community, that core of the club, that essence, that those supporters who, through thick and thin, travel near and far. And it's not so long ago that Manchester City were in League One, or the old third division, and were really in the doldrums of English football. They know what it's like to be in that position, to be one of those clubs outside of the elite, to know what it's like to essentially be dominated by these big clubs. It's not a nice feeling. And Norwich City are going to have that again next year. I watched 18 months ago as an injury-ridden Norwich City team beat one of the richest clubs in English football, in world football, injury-ridden, no centre-backs, and still they managed to beat them. That is the purity of football, because irrespective of whether you tag a team as elite or super or part of a Super League, these results can happen, because that is what makes football so great, the competition element. By stripping that away, by saying no relegations, this is essentially a franchise league that they want to sell off, that they want to commercialise, and that they want to make money out of. It's a mutiny, it's a scandal, and football really does need to come together to stop it. And hopefully, if Norwich City fans take anything from today, it's to reflect on their club and the way it's run, and to be incredibly proud of that. And hopefully, it will be a successful Premier League team. Of course, success relative, but if Norwich City can stay in the Premier League next season, I think a lot of fans will reflect on the ownership and actually be very pleased by that. A few more comments. Alan Potter on YouTube. This is a slap in the face of fans of those clubs. UEFA and the Premier League need to sanction these clubs immediately for bringing the game to the brink of financial ruin. Chris Smith, I wonder what the players will and can do. He's also added, kick the Big Six out, join the Scottish, English and Welsh leagues, new top six, Rangers, Celtic, Leicester, West Ham, Wolves and Leeds. And hopefully we can throw Norwich in there, right? That'd be nice. And St John Bird has also said, Mourinho sacked by Spurs. Did he refuse to sign up to the Super League idea? I guess that is yet to be fully known. I've seen some reports stating that may well be the case, but we shall see as the day transpires. Leave down in the comments below what you make of this new Super League idea, what it affects, or how you feel, how it affects your love for the game, and then of course how proud you are of Norwich City, and maybe the fact they're swimming against the tide. We've heard so much today about the government looking to impose this sort of German style ownership model where 51% of the club is owned by the fans. So potential investors can't come in and make decisions, as we've seen today, against maybe the fans' wishes, which is why, and Borussia Dortmund have released a statement today saying they won't be involved in the Super League in any shape or form. And whether that gets imposed in the weeks and months ahead is going to be really interesting to see. But Norwich City already have that. They have two fans that own the club. As we said, it would be disingenuous to suggest they always get it right, but no one can ever question, I think, their passion, their love for the club. Pinkham.com, the place to go. We're going to have plenty on this story throughout the day, and I suspect in the weeks and months to come. It's shocked English football. It's going to be really interesting, isn't it? No one knows what's going to happen from here. Norwich City heading into the Premier League in all this turmoil. There was a nice GIF on Twitter last night that we'll end with, and people may have seen it. And it's a guy coming into a door with pizza boxes, and the whole of the place is just on fire. That's what it feels like Norwich City are walking into. But there we go. European Super League, not for me. Let me know down below. Thank you very much for watching. Stay safe. We'll see you.